Okay, sorry you guys. I was just trying to make sure my video was pinned. Okay. We'll go ahead and start in our easy seat, Sukhasana. Thanks for joining me. Close your eyes, lengthen the spine, relax your shoulders. Place one hand on your chest and let the other hand rest on the abdomen. Become aware of your breath without consciously altering your breath. Notice how the chest lifts and falls on the inhalation and exhalation. Feel the belly as it expands and deflates beneath your hand along with the breath. And for the next few moments of silence, just keep your awareness with the breath. Release your hands to the knees, palms turned down. Inhale and use the exhalation to open the eyes, hinging forward from the hips. We're just walking our hands out. Let your head either hang or rest your forehead on the floor. If your elbows don't comfortably reach the ground and you're up here, that's fine. Just use the exhalation to soften the elbows towards the floor. And for those of you whose elbows are already resting on the ground and that's comfortable, you could inch your fingers forward. Inhale as you lift your head and chest. Walk the hands in. We're going to sit tall. Raise the right arm overhead. Look upward to the ceiling. So you're looking up to the right, reaching out through the fingertips of the right hand. Inhale as you come to center. Exhale, let's twist to our right, left hand to the outside of the knee. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, twist from the waist. Push off the back hand as you return to your center. Bring the left arm overhead. Remember to rotate the chest upward to the ceiling, looking up to your left. Inhale, center. Exhale, let's twist to our left. So the right hand is the outside of the left knee. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, twisting from the navel line. Each exhalation, twisting deeper. Push off the back hand, come to your center. Bring your opposite leg in front. Close your eyes. Place the fingertips on the floor behind you. Make sure your fingertips are turned away from the hips. Roll your shoulders back. And if you'd like, you can push your entire palm to the floor. Otherwise, it's fine to stay on the fingertips. Begin to use Ujjayi breath, victorious breath. We're going to control the breath at this point, breathing slowly and deeply in and out through the nose. Long inhalations with even longer exhalations. One last breath. When the exhalation's finished, open your eyes, extend your arms out to the sides. Starting with your right hand, slide your right hand out, stretch your left arm overhead, rotate your chest upward to the ceiling as you look up to your left. Pushing off the bottom hand, back to center. Left hand slides out, right arm stretches overhead. Keep your right sit bone glued into the floor, pressing both sit bones evenly into the ground. Pushing away with the bottom hand, return to center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands in front of heart center. Go at your own pace here. So using the Ujjayi breath, let the inhalation take the arms up and the exhalation lower the hands in front of heart center. Remember with the Ujjayi breath, it's a controlled breath, slow inhalations, longer exhalations out through the nose. And it creates this sound of the ocean, kind of like you're sighing as you squeeze the air down the windpipe and back out again. One more time around at your own pace. Take as much time as you want to finish the exhalation. When your hands are in front of heart center, in your own time, lower the hands onto the knees so the palms are turned down. Inhale as you lengthen the spine, and exhale, open the eyes, hinge forward from the hips. You're going to walk the hands out again and let your head hang. Inhale, lift the head, lift the chest, and we're going to sit tall. We'll come up onto all fours. And starting with what's called spinal balance, reach back through your right leg and push into the ball of the right foot. Inhale, right heel in line with the hip, left arm out in front. You can either stay here or you can move further into the pose by bending the right knee, holding on to the right ankle with the left hand. Continue to use the Ujjayi breath. Exhale, hand, knee back to the ground. Reach back through the left leg, push into the ball of the left foot. Inhale as you bring the heel in line with the hip. Stretch your right arm out in front. Same choice as before. If you want to move further into the pose, bend the left knee, hold onto the ankle with the right hand. Exhale as you lower your hand and knee to the mat. We're going to go into our first child's pose or balasana, dropping the sit bones to the heels. You can modify the posture by stacking one fist on top of the other to rest the forehead on. Otherwise, reach the arms out in front, let your forehead rest on the floor. Inhale as you lift your head and chest. Come to all fours. Separate the knees, hip width apart. We're going to go into cat-cows next. Inhale, lift the chest, turn the tailbone to the ceiling and push your belly button to the floor. On the exhalation, guide the tailbone under, rounding the back. Drop the head, looking towards the belly button. Inhale, lift the chest, and using the exhalation to pull the tailbone under, rounding down one vertebrae at a time, chin to chest. So just do this at your own pace. You're still using the same Ujjayi breath. You want to exaggerate this posture as much as you can, bring circulation to the spine. We've got one last cat-cow to do. Take your time, complete the exhalation fully, and then when you're ready, bring your spine to a neutral position again and take it back to your child's pose or balasana. So the legs are together, sit bones resting on the heels, arms out in front, forehead on the floor. Inhale as you lift your head and chest. Coming back to all fours, separate your knees hip width apart. We're going into downward facing dog. Curl the toes under, lift the hips, bring the weight to the heels. Look at the toes. Bending the knees, look in between the hands, walk or step the feet forward. Bend both knees, use the inhalation to take your arms up, lift the chest as you exhale to reach back. Chin lifted, gaze to the thumbs. Inhale, center. Exhale, pitching forward from the hips. You're in Uttanasana, standing forward bend. Inhale as you lengthen the spine and look out in front. This is your half standing forward bend. And then exhale, fold in two. Bend the knees, palm the mat. You're going to step back into a plank position. If you want to modify the posture today, just drop knees, tops of the feet to the floor. On the exhalation, you're going to point the elbows to the hips, lower the chest. This is Chaturanga. Inhale, lift the heart and chest, upward facing dog. Press into the tops of the feet. Bend the elbows, lower the chest, push off the floor, curling the toes under as you lift the hips. Downward facing dog. Continue to use your Ujjayi breath. Controlled breath. Bend the knees. Look in between the thumbs. Walk or step your feet back in between the hands. Bend both knees again and inhale as you take your arms up. Lift your chest. Exhale for Urdhva Hastasana or upward salute. Inhale back to center. And exhale, hinging forward into standing forward bend, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen the spine for your half standing forward bend. And exhale, fold in two. Let's bend our knees here and bring our palms to the mat. Step to a plank. Exhale as you go to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And let's exhale back to downward facing dog. Long inhalations, even longer exhalations out through the nostrils. Bending the knees, look in between the thumbs. Walk or step your feet in between the hands. Bend your knees again. Inhale, arms up. Lift the chest. Exhale, reaching back, Urdhva Hastasana. Your chin is lifted, gaze to the thumbs. And we're being careful not to press the hips forward. Inhale, center. Exhale, standing forward bend. Inhale, lengthen the spine, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold in half. Bend your knees, palms on the mat. We're going to step back to a plank. Exhale, Chaturanga, elbows pointed to the hips. Inhale, lift the heart and chest. And exhale, back to downward facing dog or Adho Mukha Svanasana. Runner's lunge is next. Bend the knees. Step or place your right foot in between your hands. You're going to press into the ball of the left foot. So notice my heel isn't on the floor for this. You can either rest the hands on the front thigh or reach the arms overhead. Chest is lifted. Exhale, hinge forward from the hips. We're going to step to a plank. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And let's exhale back to a downward facing dog. Look at your toes. Press the chest to the knees. Runner's lunge, left side. Bend the knees, looking in between the thumbs. Step or place that left foot in between the hands. Get your balance. Push into the ball of the right foot. Arms up or hands on the front thigh. Exhale, hinging forward from the hips. Return to your plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Savasana, upward facing dog. And with the exhalation, bend the elbows. Press away from the floor, curl the toes under, lift the hips, and you're in downward facing dog again. Bend the knees, look in between the thumbs. Walk or step the feet forward. Bend your knees again and inhale, arms up, lift the chest. Exhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Inhale, center. Let's exhale our hands in front of heart center. We're going to go to chair pose next. Bring the toes together. So we're trying to get our ankles and toes as close together as we can. Bend the knees, drop the seat. This is chair Utkatasana. Pull your navel in and up. Slight tuck to your tailbone. Squeezing our thighs together. Exhale, drop the seat. Triangle pose, Trikonasana. Start with your right foot in front, step back onto your left, reach your arms out, press your left hip back, right side of the body will travel in line with the right knee. So for those of you who'd like to bind the arm behind your back, you're going to take the left hand behind your back and reach for the right inner thigh with the left hand. Ideally, the gaze is up to the ceiling, but if that makes you wobble or just throws you off balance, you can look straight ahead or down at the right big toe. Release the arm, look down at the right big toe. Bend the right knee, step to Tadasana. Mountain pose, your palms are opened out. Inhale, arms up, lift the chest. Exhale for upward salute. Inhale, center, and exhale for a back in chair, Utkatasana, toes, ankles touching, squeezing the inner thighs together. Exhale as you drop the seat. All right, we're going to do the left foot next. So your left foot stays in front as you step back onto your right foot. Remember, I'm mirroring you here. So straighten that front leg, reach your arms out. Press the right hip to the side. Left side of the body in line with the left knee. Option to bind the raised arm behind the back. In this case, the right hand reaches for the left inner thigh. Continue to use your Ujjayi breath. Release your arm as you look down at your left big toe, bend the left knee. You can step to mountain or Tadasana with the palms opened outwards. Again, shoulders relaxed. Inhale, arms up, lift the chest. Exhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Inhale, center. Let's exhale as we go to chair, Utkatasana. Remember to pull the navel in and up, slight tuck to the tailbone. Exhale, drop the seat again. Let's move on to Warrior Two, Virabhadrasana 2. Keep your right foot in front and step back onto your left. Once again, I'm mirroring you here. Reach the arms out, turn your head, look out over the middle finger of the right hand. So for those of you who want to go deeper into the pose, drop the hips. Make sure you can still see that right big toe. If you can't, just inch it forward a bit. Squeeze the shoulder blades back and together, but keep the hands in line with the shoulders. Meaning I don't want you to reach your arms back like this. The hands are still right in line with the shoulders. Come out of the posture. Release the arms, straighten the front leg. Do that big step into mountain mountain or Tadasana, palms turned outwards. Your shoulders are relaxed again. Inhale to take the arms up, lift the chest. Exhale, upward salute. Inhale, center. Let's exhale as we drop into chair again or Utkatasana. Lowering the seat. Warrior two. Your left foot stays in front this time. Big step back to the right foot. Arms out. So keep in mind the rib cage is straight up and down, meaning I'm not leaning forward. I'm going to keep my shoulders stacked over my hips. Be sure to pull the left thigh out to the left side, trying to get your left knee in line with the second toe of the left foot. And that's just going to help you open the thighs. Release the arms, straighten the front leg, and we'll move back to mountain or Tadasana. The palms are turned outwards again. Inhale, arms up, lift the chest. Exhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Inhale, center. Exhale, hands in front of heart, center. And we're going to hinge forward from the hips this time, letting the head hang. Half standing forward bend. Inhale, lengthen the spine, look out in front. Exhale, fold in half. If you have a block and you like to use it, you can have it in front of your feet now. We're going to do Parsvottanasana, intense side stretch. Bend the knees. Your right foot is in front. You're going to step back to your left foot. Keep this front leg straight. So right leg is straight. And you can have the hands on the leg. You can use a block to raise the floor to you if you have one. Otherwise, hands can stay on the legs. Or if it's comfortable, fingertips or palms can rest on the ground. The hips are parallel to the short edge of the mat in front. So pulling the right hip back, turn the left hip towards your right knee. Remember, you want to continue to use your Ujjayi breath with these yoga poses. Bend the front knee, step the back foot forward. Bend both knees. Inhale, arms up, lift the chest. Exhale, Urdhva Hastasana, upward salute. Inhale, center. Exhale, hands in front of heart center. We're going to repeat Parsvottanasana on the left side. Hands on hips, roll the shoulders back. Exhale, we're going to fold into Uttanasana, and then inhale, lengthen spine, Ardha Uttanasana. And folding in half again, using your prop like a block. Bend the knees, left foot's in front. Step back to the right foot. Remember, this left leg is straight. There's no bend in the knee. So my back right foot is angled in slightly to help square my hips off to the short edge of the mat in front. My gaze is forward beyond the toes of my left foot. And I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm using my Ujjayi breath. I'm breathing deeply through the nose with long exhalations out through the nostrils and keeping my focus on my breath. Coming out of the pose, bend the left knee as you step the right foot forward. Bend both knees again. Inhale, take your arms up, lift the chest. Exhale as you reach back for upward salute or Urdhva Hastasana. Inhale, center. Exhale, hands in front of heart center. All right, so we're going to move into a balancing posture next, tree pose. So place the hands together in front of heart center. Standing tall, close your eyes. We're going to prepare for tree by checking the alignment of the body. Lengthen your spine. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Lift up your toes. Spread your toes wide into the mat. And as you keep the awareness with the feet for a moment, press the four corners of the foot into the floor. Both sides of the ball of the foot both sides of the heel of the foot rooted into the ground. Inhale, exhale, open the eyes and stare at a fixed point. We're going to start off with our right foot. Your choice if you want to rest it on the ankle, the side of the calf, or lift it to the inner thigh. Either way, the right knee is turned out to the right side. You get external rotation of the right hip. And for those of you who'd like, you're welcome to take the arms overhead, or you can just keep them in front of heart center. If you'd like to sway your tree today, separate the hands shoulder width and slowly tilt towards your right knee. Let's return to our center. I'm a little wobbly today. And lower the hands in front of heart center, knee back to the midline. And I will meet you again in Tadasana or mountain pose. Shoulders relaxed. Close your eyes again. Press the hands together in Anjali Mudra in front of heart center. Find a comfortable standing position. If you want to reposition the feet, do that now. Lengthen the spine again. Long neck, shoulders still relaxed away from the ears. Pick up the toes, stand them wide into the mat, and then press the four corners of the foot into the floor. Both sides of the ball of the foot, both sides of the heel of the foot rooted into the ground again. Inhale, exhale, open the eyes, stare at a fixed point, and begin with the left foot. It can rest on the ankle, the side of the calf, or the inner thigh. It's up to you what feels comfortable. The left knee turned out to the left side again, option to take the arms overhead. And for those of you who want to go further, you can sway your tree towards the left knee. I separate my hands shoulder width apart and then start to tilt towards my left knee. Back to center. Lower the hands in front of heart center, knee to the midline, and we're returning here to mountain pose or Tadasana. Palms opened outward for an opening through the chest. Good. All right, let's turn to face the short edge of the mat. We're going to do a warrior three next. Just so if you're not familiar with warrior three, it is easiest to have the arms out to the sides. It's a little more challenging with the arms alongside the torso. And then so the longer the extension it is, the more difficult it gets. So with the arms extended upward, that's going to be the hardest. So I leave it to you if you want to have the arms out to the sides alongside the torso or straight up in the air. But you're going to keep the right foot on the floor and step back onto the left big toe. Look at something on the ground. Keep your gaze on something on the floor out in front of you as you hinge forward from the hips. And back to center. We'll release our arms. We're going to do one upward salute. Inhale, arms up. Lift the chest. And exhale, reach back. Chin lifted, gaze to the thumbs. Inhale, center. Exhale, hands in front of heart center. And back to mountain Tadasana, palms turned outwards. Your choice if you prefer the arms out to the sides, alongside the torso, or reaching to the ceiling. This time, left foot stays in front as you step back onto the right big toe. Gaze at something on the floor in front of you. Keep your focus there to help with balance. Exhale, hinging forward from the hips. Bring the right heel in line with the hip. Inhale, center, and we'll release. Stepping forward to the short edge of the mat with the hands on the hips, roll the shoulders back. Exhale, hinge forward from the hips. Inhale, lengthen the spine, looking out in front. Exhale, fold in half. Bend the knees, bring your palms to the mat. Step to a plank. Modify your plank so your knees, tops of the feet are on the floor. And then pull your hips back onto the heels, coming into Balasana or child's pose. Inhale, lift the head, lift the chest. We're going to come into a modified plank again. So right now I'm on all fours, but then I'm going to bring my weight forward so my shoulders are over my wrist. This is the modified plank. Bend the elbows, point them to the hips, lower the chest. And then I'm going to slide my hands forward, elbows under shoulders in what's called Sphinx pose, or Ardha Bhujangasana. This particular posture may cause discomfort in your lower back. If it does, it's your body telling you don't stay in the pose. So if you prefer, you can go into what's called crocodile pose or Makrasana, placing one hand on top of the other, resting the forehead on the hand, and separating the legs to form a letter V, ankles resting on the floor. So that option is if you're feeling pain in the lower back. Otherwise, you can stay here or move to Cobra Pose or Bhujangasana, pressing through the palms, lifting the chest, looking up. Continue to use your Ujjayi deep breath. And exhale back to Sphinx. And we'll all move to Crocodile Pose or Makrasana, turning the elbows out to opposite sides. Position one hand on top of the other. Rest the forehead on the hands. Separate the legs to that same letter V formation, turning the ankles to rest on the floor. So remember, the crocodile pose does have a purpose. It aids in digestion. So this is a really good pose to use if you maybe have a stomach ache or digestion issues, because you're massaging the internal organs in the front of the body here, just by lying on your belly. Inhale, lift the head, lift the chest. We're gonna bring our legs together again. And I'm just gonna scoot back on my mat, so I'm all the way there. Take the arms alongside the torso, and your chin is on the floor. We'll move into snake pose next, or Sarpasana. It's just a baby back bend. Inhale, lift the chest, interlace the fingers, pull the hands down so the arms are long. Roll your shoulders back. Same precaution as before. If you feel pain in your lower back, listen to your body, come out of the pose. And release the hands. We're going to turn our cheek to one side. Turn your cheek to the opposite side. And come back onto your chin. Press the hands under the shoulders. So you're going to push into the ground. Come up to all fours and then drop into child's pose or Balasana. Okay, lift the head, lift the chest. Come to a kneeling position. So this next posture, just be gentle with yourself. Don't force yourself into any of the different options. So we're going to start with our hands on our lower back. You can lift the chest and look up. So for some of you, you might be perfectly fine just staying here. So please feel free to stay here. For others, if you do want to move deeper into the pose, you have the option of curling the toes under, so your heels are a little higher, and you're gonna hold on to the heels with the hands. So one hand on one foot, one heel, the other hand on the other heel. This posture is called Ustrasana or camel pose. For those of you who do want to move deeper into the pose, then the tops of the feet stay on the floor as you hold on to the heels. Push the hips forward. And we'll press off the heels. Come to center. And we're going to rest in our counter pose, child's pose. You can have the hands alongside the legs for this version. Lifting the head and chest, come to all fours. Drop one hip to the ground, and we'll come into what's called round ankle pose or Baddha Konasana with the soles of the feet pushed together. Holding onto the ankles or the toes, lengthen the spine. With the exhalation, hinge from the hips. I invite you to close your eyes with me at this point, focusing on the Ujjayi breath. Use the inhalation to lengthen the spine, keeping the length in the spine as you exhale and hinge from the hips. Chest stays lifted with the intent of eventually resting the belly button on the toes. You can use the Ujjayi breath to guide you deeper into the posture. So without forcing anything, just let the inner thigh muscles relax inward. Inhale as you return to center. Release the feet, bring the knees together, slide one leg out, then the other. Roll the legs in and out from the hips. We're gonna let them rest. So you're coming into a pose called Dandasana or staff pose. The legs are extended, hands alongside the hips. For those of you, if this is, you feel uncomfortable just being here with the legs extended, you can always have a bend in the knees, that's fine, or even sit on a block that'll lift your hips higher and make it easier for you to come forward. Our next posture is Paschimottanasana, seated forward bend. Stretch your fingertips to the ceiling. Exhale as you fold forward. It's your choice if you want to hold on to the legs. If you have a strap and you like to use that prop, you can place it behind the balls of the feet, extending the arms, or you can hold on to the feet, whichever works for you. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, hinge from the hips. So just working with the breath to relax into the posture without forcing anything. Still using that same Ujjayi breath. Each inhalation, find space as you elongate the spine. And each exhalation, starting to hinge forward from the hips. You're going to back off when it feels a little too uncomfortable to go forward and start again. Inhale to create space and exhale to relax into the pose. And we'll inhale back to center. Walk the hands about 6 inches or so behind the hips. Your fingers are turned towards your heels. Roll the shoulders back and look up. We'll look towards our toes again. Bring the fingers towards the knees. Look down at your belly button as you roll onto your elbows, then shoulder blades. Then let your head rest on the floor. Your gaze is up to the ceiling. Walk the heels to the sit bones. Lower the small of the back onto the ground. And then press the soles of the feet together. Let your knees drop out to opposite sides. Slide your arms away from the sides of the torso and turn your palms up to the ceiling. That gives you more of an opening through the chest. This pose is Supta Baddha Konasana or reclining bound ankle pose. You no longer need to use the Ujjayi breath. Just for this particular posture, allow your breath to flow naturally. Just being aware of the breath without controlling it. You might notice if it's a little jagged from the previous poses that we've done, if it's flowing smoothly through the body. There's no need to judge it, just be aware of it. And gently open the eyes and turn the palms back down to the ground. Bring them alongside the torso, feet on the floor again. And one more time, lower the small of the back to the ground. Slide your left leg down the mat, press out through the left heel, pull the right knee into the chest, interlace the fingers over the front of the right shin. Continue to pull the right knee closer and closer to the body as you press out through both heels. So my feet aren't relaxed here. I am actively pushing out through the heels. Release the hands, return your right foot to the floor, slide the right leg down, roll the legs in and out from the hips, and then let them rest. Pushing out through the heels, pull the left knee into the chest, interlace the fingers over the front of the left shin. Keep pulling this knee closer and closer to the body as you press out through the heels. So we're using the Ujjayi breath again. This Ujjayi breath keeps the heat in the body, but it also acts as a focal point for the mind. Release your hands, return the left foot to the floor, slide the leg all the way down the mat, roll the legs in and out from the hips, and then we'll just let them rest. So walk the heels back into the sit bones, lower the small of the back onto the floor, and we're gonna pull our knees into our chest, slide the arms out to the side so the hands are in line with the shoulders. As you exhale, drop the knees to the right. This is your reclining twist. Turn your head in the opposite direction. So you're gonna look towards your left hand. I'm still looking to the screen, but you're gonna be looking towards your left hand here. For those of you who'd like to move deeper, all you need to do is place the right hand gently on the side of the left thigh to guide the knees closer to the floor. And if you want to go further into this pose, you're welcome to extend the top left leg out. Knees are stacked on top of each other, and your right hand would be holding on to the left heel. Otherwise, you can stay here with me with both knees bent. Be sure and keep your left shoulder blade pushed into the floor. And we'll bring our head to center. Bring the knees back to the chest. We're going to drop our knees to the left. Turn the head as we look towards our right hand. And you have the same additional options as before. Your left hand can guide the top right thigh closer to the ground, or you can stretch your piriformis out by stacking the knees on top of each other and extending the right leg out, holding onto the right heel with the left hand. Try and bring your right shoulder blade deeper into the floor. And we'll bring our head back to center, both knees bent. Inhale the knees to the chest, hug the shins, pull the knees close to the body for little rolls forward, back, side to side. You're welcome to pick up the head and shoulders here. If you want, you can make yourself into a tight little ball, rolling over the lower back, just giving your kidneys a gentle massage. And returning to center. Release the head and shoulders to the floor. Release your hands. Drop the feet to the floor. Slide one leg down the mat, then the other. Roll the legs in and out from the hips and let them rest. It's time for guided relaxation. If you'd like to turn off your lights, now is the appropriate time. If you have an eye pillow that you want to place on your eyes, go ahead and do that. And if your body cools down, feel free to place a blanket over it right now. Or if you want to add socks, that's fine too. And then I'll meet you on your mat in what's called Shavasana or corpse pose. The legs are separated to form the letter V, heels at the opposite corner edges of the mat, palms turned upward to the ceiling, and eyes closed, of course. Please stay reclined on your back during this entire relaxation period. I'll let you know when it's time to get up again. Let's take a slow inhalation through the nose, using a longer exhalation out through the nostrils. Let your awareness flow down to the feet. Wiggle your toes. Then let the feet rest. Move on to the hands. Wiggle your fingers. Open wide through the palm. Stretch all the way out through the fingertips. Curl the fingers in, making a soft fist here. Pump it a few times and let go, allowing the hands to open again. Perhaps noticing a natural curl to the fingers with the hands at rest. We'll bring the focus back to the feet. Visualize the healing energy. Let the energy travel into the big toes. Just notice your big toes, nothing else but a very small part of the body. Let the energy flow to the second toe. Just noticing the second toe. Then in your own time, guide the energy to the next toe and the next until eventually it reaches the smallest toe. Notice the spaces in between each of the toes. Let the healing energy slide down the backs of the feet, so it washes through the soles of the feet. Just massaging the bottoms of the feet as it rubs away any cramping or fatigue that might exist in the foot. And as you continue to keep the awareness in the feet, begin to visualize all of the small bones that compose your foot. Think about the spaces in between each of the small bones that make up the foot. Invite the healing energy to flow through these spaces in between each of the small bones that make up the foot. Move the energy through the tops of the feet, into the ankles. Feel the healing energy as it swirls around the outsides of the ankles. Guide the healing energy up the fronts of the lower legs. Feel it rise up your shins. Gently wrap around the sides of the lower legs and flow into the calf muscles in the backs of the lower legs. Move the healing energy higher. Let it travel upward to the knees. Guide the energy even higher, letting it flow into the fronts of the thighs. As you feel this healing energy making its way through the quadriceps, the large muscle group in the fronts of the thighs, consciously relax the quads. Feel them release and let go. Move the healing energy around the sides of your thighs. Let it flow into the hamstrings and the backs of your thighs. As you feel this energy flowing through your hamstrings, let any emotions or tension that may have collected in the hamstrings ease away. Guide the healing energy upward to the hips, so it swirl around the outsides of the hips. Allow your hips to unwind and open. Move the healing energy higher. Let it flow upward to the abdominal cavity. Soften the belly. Guide the energy even higher. Let it travel to the center of the chest. And once this healing energy has reached the center of your chest, feel it spread out across the chest, just like a pleasant sensation extending all the way out to the sides of the rib cage. Allow your chest to untighten. Guide this energy upward to the tops of the shoulders. Relax your shoulders towards the floor. Feel the support of the ground beneath you. Move the healing energy from the tops of the shoulders into each side of the neck. As you become aware of both sides of the neck, let any stress held in the sides of the neck melt away. Soften the throat. Relax the jawline. As you release the jaw, notice the space created between the upper and bottom row of teeth. Move this healing energy into the face till it's washed and spread throughout the entire face, just moving all of the facial muscles out to the sides, releasing any lines or creases that might exist in the face. Guide the energy from the forehead into the scalp. Let the healing energy wash throughout the entire scalp like warm water from a shower. Allow your scalp to loosen. Slowly guide this healing energy from the back of the scalp into the back of the neck. And as you become aware of the back of the neck, visualize the small muscles located in the back of the neck softening, letting any residual stress in this area of the body continue to fade away. Slowly guide the healing energy down the spine. Let it spiral in between the spaces of each of the vertebrae that make up the spine until eventually it reaches the base of the spine. Feel the energy as it radiates out from the center of the spine and flows across the middle of the back. Let the energy slide down into the lower back. Then guide this healing energy up across the shoulder blades. Let the energy flow freely throughout the entire back, deeply massaging all of the muscles of the back, seeking out any knots that might exist within the muscles of the back, and rubbing those knots away. Guide the energy up from the shoulder blades, back to the tops of the shoulders. From here, let the energy flow through the upper arms, relaxing the muscles of the upper arms. Move the energy into the elbows. Sense the spaciousness within each elbow joint. Guide the energy through the forearms, into the wrist joints. Notice the spaciousness within each wrist joint. And finally, let this healing energy flow into the hands and collect in the center of the palms. Once you feel that you're holding this energy in each hand, send it out to your fingers. Take a moment to notice each finger one at a time. As you become aware of a single finger, notice the knuckle joint within the individual finger. Sense the spaciousness within the knuckle joint of that single finger. Give yourself a moment to connect with each finger individually. And in your own time, let the healing energy exit out through the fingertips. Visualize it taking away with it any toxins or impurities from the body, leaving your entire body cleansed and deeply relaxed. And your mind still aware, just at peace yet highly focused for the moment, as you've chosen to turn your attention to a single point, which is your own relaxation. Let's take an active inhalation through the nose, using a longer exhalation out through the nostrils. I invite you to open the eyes, stay relaxed and comfortable on your back. You don't need to get up yet. We're going to gently reawaken the body by wiggling the toes, rolling the ankles around, rolling the entire leg in and out from the hips, then letting the lower half of the body rest. Move to the hands, wiggle the fingers, then let your hands rest. Walk the heels into the sit bones. Once both feet are flat on the floor, raise your right arm overhead. You're going to roll onto your right side and just rest on your right side for a few slow breaths. You don't need to control the breath, just let the breath flow naturally. Then when you're ready, push the left palm into the floor. Take your time. But once you are seated again, I invite you to sit in Sukhasana or any comfortable cross-legged position. And we're going to end with just a 1-minute meditation on the third eye. I'll let you decide how you'd like to position the hands. For those of you who aren't familiar, just a few options would be palms turned down in the knees, palms opened upward to the ceiling. You could even add a mudra here, pressing the index finger and thumb together to aid with concentration. Or you can place one hand inside the other, palms turned upward to the ceiling and thumbs touching. When you're ready, close the eyes, lengthen through the spine, but relax the shoulders. Bring your focus to your chakra called the third eye. It's just an energy point which is located in between the eyebrows and slightly above. During this brief meditation, your mind will travel to other thoughts. Once you've realized that's happened, just gently return the awareness back to the third eye or your Ajna chakra. And we'll gently return our awareness to the room, taking an active inhalation through the nose with a longer exhalation out through the nostrils. I invite you to slowly and softly reopen the eyes, gazing gently at the floor in front of you. And we'll end here, sealing in the benefits of today's practice. Namaste. Thank you for coming. See you tomorrow.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.